Hi, we're going to use this brief Prezi presentation to introduce you to the people that work at the University of Connecticut Center for Land Use Education and Research, or CLEAR. At CLEAR, we're hoping that our work helps support communities to make better land use decisions that will lead to healthier natural resources like water and forest and habitat, and also to more resilient and vibrant communities. And to do this, we have to come up with a lot of projects and programs which require us to get some bright ideas. And those bright ideas are usually fueled by brains that are fueled in turn by caffeine and coffee and chocolate. And those brains reside within the people of CLEAR. There are currently 9 of us. So after looking at this little disclaimer here, let's go on to meet them. Bruce Hyde is a land use planner at CLEAR. He's a grizzled veteran of land use planning, having 30 years of experience in Vermont and Connecticut. He runs the Land Use Academy, which is our basic training for land use officials. And he's also increasingly working with communities on issues of climate resiliency. He's the father of 3 grown kids. He's a triathlete that's married to a crazy good triathlete, so he's always frustrated about that. He's a boat owner, so he has no money. And Bruce is great around the office. He's a ball of fire. It's very hard for us to keep up with him. Next, we have Kerry Chadwick. She's one of our 2 real geospatial wizards. She runs the geospatial training program, which trains all sorts of folks, academics and private sector folks and land use officials in the use of geospatial technology. She's a new mother, as you can see here. She's somewhat of a Renaissance woman. She's a photographer. She's a painter. She's an athlete. But she does have this annoying habit of wearing bunny slippers around the office. Mike Dietz is a hydrologist and natural resource expert. He runs our Non-Point Education for Municipal Officials, or NEMO program, and spends a lot of time talking to people about low-impact development or green infrastructure. He's the father of 1 precocious young lady. He spends a lot of his time down in the basement brewing beer, and he's just a little bit too fond of fishing for some of the rest of us. Giuliana Barrett is a botanist and ecologist. She is associated with the Sea Grant program, but she's also part of CLEAR. She does a lot of work with communities and other groups on coastal and riparian restoration, but she is really moving quite a bit of her time into working with Bruce on issues of climate resiliency for communities, particularly coastal communities. She's the mother of 2 almost grown kids. We believe that she talks to plants in her spare time, and she's somewhat of a woman of mystery. We have no incriminating photos of Giuliana, so if you have one, please send it in. But for now, we'll just use the smiley face because she's about the nicest person that any of us have ever met. Moving on to Dave Dixon. He's a little bit shy, as you can see here. He's trained as an environmental lawyer, although we don't use him in that capacity. He runs the National NEMO Network, which is a network of programs in 30 states that are all fashioned after what we've been doing here in Connecticut. He is also becoming the team social media and smartphone applications expert, so he works with the geospatial people quite a bit on that. He's the father of 2 young kids. He's a soccer coach of his daughter's team, and he's a runner. And the thing about Dave, though, is he's a little bit serious around the office. It's very hard for us to get him to lighten up. Next, Emily Wilson. She's our 2nd geospatial wizard, and she's really a remote sensing expert as well as being a GIS expert. She is the expert on the team of creating internet mapping sites, which is becoming a big part of our work. And she's the keeper of the Mongo internet mapping site in Connecticut, the CT Eco site, a collaboration of DEEP and CLEAR with natural resource data. She's the mother of 3 young kids, so she's got no time for hobbies, but she does have a superpower, and that is that she's a nice girl from Ohio. And God forbid, if she unleashes that power on you, you just don't want to be around. Co-director for research at CLEAR is Dr. Dan Sivko. He's a much decorated professor with 30 years of experience right here at UConn. He's a big-time remote sensing expert. He's a father of 1 grown child, and he's an Emerson, Lake and Palmer fanatic. So if you don't know who those are, you'll just have to Google it and find out. You're too young. But he does have a kind of a nasty secret, and he sometimes poses for Playdog magazine. Kara Bonsack is our graphic designer. She's also our website designer, and that involves a lot of programming. So she does almost as much programming these days as designing. And her job is to make Clear stuff look good, even when it isn't the best work. She's a mother of 2 young boys, so she doesn't have a lot of time either, but she manages to do a lot of handyman jobs around the house. She's an athlete, plays softball and volleyball, and Kara will go to just about any lengths to get the perfect angle on her photograph. And lastly, this is me, Chet Arnold, I'm co-director for Outreach for Clear. I have some background in water resources, but I don't really have any known function at Clear that anyone can think of at the moment. I'm a father of 2 almost grown kids. I spend a lot of time cooking and playing racket sports, and sometimes I'm so happy about working at the center that I have to go out to the hills and sing to the hills. So that's us, that's the people of Clear, and if you want to know more about us and our programs, you can check out the website.